Neville Livingston, more popularly known as Bunny Wailer, the last surviving member of the original Wailers group, died on Tuesday. He was 73 years old. Also known affectionately as Jabi, he is known for spreading the Rastafarian lifestyle globally through reggae music. A principled man, he also expressed concern about the current lack of values in the music and the role of the media in propagating negative stereotypes. PBCJ's Carol Francis tells us more about his life and his work.
Neville O'Reilly Livingston was born at the Kingston Public Hospital in 1947. At 7 years of age, his family migrated to St. Anne. He attended the Stepney Elementary School and became close friends with his schoolmate Robert Nesta Marley. His family relocated to Kingston. Soon after, the two families became one and lived together in Trench Town. Bob's mother had a daughter with Bunny's father. Sometime later, they met Peter Tosh, who had moved to Kingston from Westmoreland to find work as a welder. Livingston was extremely talented, blessed with a natural aptitude for music. Though not formally trained as a musician, he could play a guitar and wrote his own arrangements. In 1963, Bunny Wailer formed the Wailing Wailers with his stepbrother Bob, their newfound friend Peter Tosh, Junior Brathwaite, and Beverly Kelso. The 1960s was a melting pot. Jamaica was a newly independent nation and new musical genres such as ska were emerging. The Wailers rode in on this wave and the group shot to fame with Simmer Down and began touring. The Wailers were a representation of the changing times. They would trade their clean-cut bebop style of the 60s to embrace the revolutionary spirit of the 1970s, embodied by a philosophical shift to Rastafari and reggae. Their success would blossom. They gained global recognition, and then the original Wailers would part ways, with the singers each pursuing individual careers. An energetic performer, Bunny Wailer experimented with various genres after leaving the Wailers, including dancehall and disco. You got to know it, that you can't hold it, but you know it's there. He became focused on his spiritual faith and built on the Rastafari movement, which has had a significant impact on Jamaican culture and the world.
When one says that he's a Rastaman, it's because that he was created a Rastaman. It's not a thing along the way. That if whatever you were or whatever you were created for, that's what you're going to be. If you even adopt the principles, you're still going to come back to whatever you were created for. Mm-hmm. So in the Rastaman is a divine order of creation from the mother's womb. So the Father instilled within our minds the concept and the understanding of His Imperial Majesty.
So it is the original religion?
Of course. It
was implanted in the conscience of man?
It was the first.
Rastafarianism?
The first religion?
Yes, the first religion, the religion of truth and right, and equity and justice. In the Bible, it has been pointed out in Acts chapter 2 of the fruit of the loins of Jesse, of David, Christ shall sit upon the throne of David. It is in Acts chapter 2. In the Revelations, it shows us that the lamb that was slain, and yet is, shall reign in truth and victory forever.
Yes.
Which is the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah.
Yes.
So, with that knowledge, and with the inspiration that the Rastaman, because Rastas get visions too, you know, I have gotten several visions of His Imperial Majesty.
You?
Of course. I have vision of Zion itself. Zion, the holy place where we all are like that high. You know, we are all children.
Yes.
We have wings.
Yes.
We fly. If we want to walk, we walk.
Yes.
If we want to fly, we fly. But I've gotten a vision of Zion, and the only person in Zion that is adult is His Imperial Majesty.
He devoted his life to music and experienced a number of highs and lows.
Bend down low. Let me tell you what I know.
In 1989, he came face to face with a jarring paradigm shift. The 80s saw the country moving away from hard reggae to an evolved offspring, which was dancehall, a genre known for its risque and sexually explicit approach.
And give me 90 if you dead and bury. 90 come guess where Wobia man say. Me 9 bed and not drink whiskey.
Bunny Wailer appeared on Sting that year, a show billed as the greatest one-day reggae show on earth. But the crowds made it clear that they did not want his brand of reggae and hurled the bottles on stage to bring home the point. A principled man, Bunny Wailer was forced to retreat.
Sting incident was like a catastrophe where it led up to a clash in a situation that people promoted these two youths into rivalry, and that created a division even in the people who supported these youths.
Yeah.
And it also went as far as that politics was introduced, because we know where Jamaica people never stop at nothing. They always take things to the extreme. And Sting was one of those extremes that someone would have died, maybe die in the national night, because someone should have died, because it was a clash to kill. And there was even a coffin there, there was a hearse there, and there was all the symbols of death.
Yes.
So I being there, I think it was a blessing that I gave a prayer of life.
Yes.
And out of that, it vexed Lucifer, that he said, let's sprinkle some shandy on it. That can't work.
His prolific musical career spanned over 40 decades. In that time, he produced 24 albums and won 3 Grammys. He was a lover of music, a principled man, not only in music, but also in life.
Music has principles where you have chord principle, you have a key principle, you have to be singing on chord, you have to sing in the right key, you have to change, the chord change, you have to change with that. The music has to relate to the melody of the song and all of that principle, you know, that I have learned by listening.
He was extremely vocal on the need to maintain values of peace and unity, and bemoaned the lack of values being reflected in music, a trend he says is partly to be blamed on the media.
The media has been promoting the lesser side of this great reggae music, and out of that it has encouraged the youths to more be inclined to dealing with what makes money and what gets them there, you know.
Yes.
And out of that you find a lot of youths having in them conscious lyrics, but because of the requirements of the promoters and all of these people who are lazy and don't want to spend the proper amount of money to produce a record,
yes,
so as to get the right result and all of that, then it goes where these little youths are encouraged into doing what the producers want them to do. And then the media themselves should be censoring whatever is being played on the radio and television and all of that kind of stuff. The music was never this. The music didn't start where it is now, that we could say that we are reversing, we are going backwards. The music started with classical music with Jimmy Tucker and the people like Joe Higgs and Wilson and Alton and Hedy and all of these original people who made the music authentic.
That's right.
And a trend and a tradition that was followed by all the rest of people who followed after, like myself and Bob and Peter and all the rest of musicians. So it was where the DJ revolution, because you had DJs like Big Youth and U-Roy before Big Youth, and those people related to the music on a cultural manner without degradation of any kind, you know, relating to women lesser than what women should be, you know, the way women should be treated, you know. So it's like, out of that, we find that even the women get carried away, where admirations go where a man would want to admire a woman, the less clothes that she has on, he would get, you know, involved in noticing her or admiring her, and then she would feel that in her getting even more naked, then she would be getting more admiration. And then the DJs see that, and they start framing lyrics from that, and then it becomes now a thing.
He believed slackness in the music contributed to the increased provocativeness of women in the way they dressed, while simultaneously eroding the level of respect being shown to women.
For a man to just admire a woman because of her flesh, then women are in trouble, because there's going to be less choosing of wives among these women, you know, when a wife is already naked, that a man would never want someone that every eye, other man's eyes are upon. So I don't think it's going to work out good in the long run, and then the women should see that they are abusing themselves, and they are supporting that abuse by reacting even more naked, because every day you see where it's getting even worse and worse. So it's like if you pass a madman on the street naked, for the first time it might shock you. Second time it has less shock on you. Third time less shock on you. And then after a while you get used to seeing that madman that you pass him and brush shoulder with him and don't even notice.
Yes.
So that is what the women are taking themselves, take time and becoming unnoticed.
Bob Marley died in 1981. Peter Tosh in 1987. This left Bunny Wailer as the last singer left of the original Wailers band. He was one of the most celebrated musicians and greatest proponent of Jamaica's reggae music. He died on March 2, 2021. The gift of his music remains to inspire us all.
Only the best is good enough. And if we want to make sure that we put down things that can always be weapon, I think we should make sure we do that one time.
For the news on PBCJ, I'm Carol Francis.
The baddest. Rubber dub it at the toughest. And any stage show that you can ram, I and I can ram it up tighter. We are the baddest. Rubber dub it at the toughest.